Hello out there, welcome to Jonesing for Games. My name is Jeremiah, and today we're talking about Mina the Hollower. This is from Yacht Club Games, the same company that made Shovel Knight back in 2014. Yacht Club did really support Shovel Knight with multiple expansions, and I hope they do the same with Mina the Hollower because I've really enjoyed my time with the game so far, and I think if they add on some new biomes or maybe a side story with it following a different Hollower going forward, that'd be something pretty cool to check out. But during the lead up to the launch of Mina the Hollower, they mentioned if Shovel Knight was their Super Mario, then Mina is their Legend of Zelda. And I can definitely see that, while playing through the game. I kept thinking back to playing The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on my Game Boy Color way back in the day. And so I really enjoyed the puzzles in this game, as well as the secrets you're able to uncover. The world and the different biomes you explore have a great variety, and some of the NPCs you meet are pretty interesting. In addition to the Legend of Zelda inspiration, they also sprinkle in a bit of Souls like DNA, which I thought was an interesting choice. There's a safe zone called the Underlab, which is similar to bonfires. You get to save your game, change your weapon, or equip different trinkets, and convert your bones into bone stones, which you don't lose after dying, which is pretty nice. Similar to Bloodborne, after taking damage, if you hit enemies, you build up a yellow bar that refills your health when you drink a vial. So this really encourages you to stay aggressive in fights and kind of adds an extra challenge to the game. There are three main weapons to choose from when you start: dual swords, a hammer, and a whip. I tried all three and primarily used the whip for most of my playthrough. I've seen online people saying that this game is very challenging, which it is not an easy game, but I think there's extra frustration if you choose the hammer or the dual swords, since you have to be really close to the enemies to do damage, and when you touch them, you take damage. So that can really be annoying. The reach on the whip alleviates this and makes the game feel a bit more fair, in my opinion. And so, if you're starting off for the first time, I would recommend the whip, but to each his own. If you want some extra challenge, more go for the swords or the hammer. But in addition to your main weapon, there are a ton of trinkets in the game. These are items you can equip that give Mina extra abilities. For instance, one allows you to revive after death, which saved me a ton of frustration during some boss fights. Others allow you to do things like shoot a fireball when you take damage, or give you an ally that floats around next to you and attacks enemies when they get close. It's really fun to mess around with a different combination of trinkets to kind of match your playstyle, and again, just adds another level of depth, I think, to the game itself. The story follows Mina, who, as the name says, is a hollower. And Mina built these six towers back in the day, and for some reason they're now malfunctioning, which has been causing creatures around the world to become hostile. So it's your job to fix these broken towers and bring peace back to the land. In order to do this, you explore the land of Osix, and I think this is where the game really shines. The map itself is fun to explore. You find different paths that end up being shortcuts and lead you back to other parts of the map. And so it's really old school, and I enjoyed having to figure out and remember the map. You can get a map from an NPC, further into the game, but it's still more of an overview and not super detailed, and so I don't think it takes away from that sense of exploration. The game throws quite a bit of variety at you. There are pretty challenging platforming sections, a good variety of different boss fights. My personal favorite was a kind of spooky section that has a unkillable stalker enemy pursuing you. This was just something I did not expect to see out of this game, and it was a pretty nice surprise. At the end of the day, though, I think how much you enjoy Mina will really come down to your tolerance level of old school difficulty. Only being able to attack in the four cardinal directions, while enemies can come at you diagonally, can definitely be annoying. Taking damage by just running into or touching an enemy is particularly annoying, and falling off platforms when you miss a jump only to have to restart a challenging section can definitely get on your nerves. But in spite of all these potential frustrations, I found myself constantly wanting to go back and have one more go. This has been a game for me that's been hard to put down, and one I look forward to, really digging back into and finding even more secrets. And for me, that's the sign of a great game. it's something that you just want to continue playing, and I definitely do want to keep playing Mina the Hollower. I definitely recommend Mina if you're a fan of old school games, or if you're looking for something a bit different and you're up for a little bit of a challenge. But those are my thoughts on Mina the Hollower. If you've played it, please let me know what you think. Was it too hard, or do people need to just get good? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.